Today, we are at an all-new location, Blue Line Classic Cars, located in North Royalton, Ohio. To take a closer look at this, I've waited all year to feature this car, 1958 Edsel Ranger. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like. Picture this, you just obtained a car you know nothing about, or perhaps you've owned these cars in the past, and you're just here to reminisce. Either way, we feature the classics, vintage, some exotics, lots of orphan cars, and cars that tend to get lost in the shuffle. If that sounds like a channel that you totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Two things real quick. One, we are going to be doing a reflection episode. We're going to reflect 1 year of what it's like, talk past, present, and future, fill in some blanks, and just talk about some stuff. It's going to be a really cool episode. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, voice your comments in the comment section below, and I will answer them in the reflection episode. Two, this car is for sale at Blue Line Classic Cars. Link in the description. Let's talk 1958 Edsel. What, where, why, how? Edsel was a make offered by the Ford Motor Company. In 1958, it was positioned between Mercury and Lincoln. Why? Ford wanted 5 brands to go toe-to-toe with both GM and Chrysler. GM with Cadillac, Buick, Olds, Pontiac, and Chevy. Chrysler with Imperial, Chrysler, DeSoto, Dodge, Plymouth. Ford was proposing to have Continental, Lincoln, Edsel, Mercury, and Ford. But the problem was Continental didn't even make it till 1958. They lost money on every single car that they sold and was absorbed into the Lincoln brand itself by 1958. For those that don't know, Ford pulled out all of the stops for the Edsel. Edsel was kind of a big deal. Ford got all the biggest names in show business to introduce the Edsel live on CBS for a 1-hour special broadcast October 13th, 1957, called The Edsel Show. Ford called it E-Day, starring Bing Crosby, who is Father Christmas, which is a great tie-in because today is Christmas. Frank Sinatra, Rosemary Clooney, Louis Armstrong, Lindsey Crosby, Bob Hope, and the Four Preps. The show had great ratings, and even Look magazine gave it a TV award, was nominated for an Emmy, but the hype did not translate into sales. 1958 was probably one of the worst years to market a new car line, huge economic recession, and the styling was a bit off-putting to some. It was polarizing, to say the least, but hold on a second. How can somebody say that this is ugly, but in the same breath be willing to shell out all kinds of money for the new Alpha, or better yet, take a look at the Bugatti Veyron or the Bugatti Chiron. They all have the same design concept. Maybe it was the name, who knows? Let's talk 1958 Edsel model lineup. The Edsel was offered in 4 series, 18 models, and was broken down into a junior series and a senior series. Senior series cars were the Corsair and the Citation. They rode a longer wheelbase of 124 inches and had way more power, baby, thanks to a 410 cubic inch displacement, 6.7 MEL engine, 1 year only, super underrated engine. It produced 345 horsepower, 475 foot-pounds of torque. Let's talk junior series, starting with the wagons. Edsel offered 3 wagon variants: the Roundup, which was a 2-door wagon; the Villager, which was a 4-door wagon, but could be had as a 6-passenger or 9-passenger configurations, or you could get the Bermuda wagon, which had the fake wood sides, and it could be had in a 6-passenger or 9-passenger configuration. Junior series cars were the Ranger and the Pacer. Ranger versus Pacer. Both are junior models, but the major differences are the Ranger is essentially the basement model. The Pacer had more standard equipment, more bright work, better interior options, and a convertible option. Ranger could be had as a 4-door sedan, 4-door hardtop, 2-door hardtop, 2-door sedan. Let's talk specs. 213.2 inches long, 78.8 inches wide, 56.2 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 118 inches. It weighs 3,700 pounds. Price, $2,678, which is equivalent to you spending $27,587.20 in the year 2022. Total 1958 Edsel production was 68,045 units. Total Ranger production was 21,301 units. Total Ranger 2-door sedans was 4,615 units. The Edsel was produced from 1958, 1959, 1960. Just for reference, total Edsel production was 118,287 units. Now, if you're sitting there and you're wondering what was the rarest 58 Edsel produced, I was always under the impression that it was the Citation convertible. They only made 930 of those. I always thought that that was the rarest 58 Edsel. Doing this episode, found out that that wasn't 100% true. Rarest 58 Edsel was the 9-passenger Bermuda wagon with only 779 ever made. Moving on to engines, only one engine on offer for the Junior Series Edsel. That was the 361 cubic inch displacement V8 5.9 liters. It's good for 303 brake horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque with a bore of 4.1 inches, a stroke of 3.5 inches, compression 10.5 to 1. When mated to a 3-speed manual, 0 to 60 could be had in 9.3 seconds. Theoretical top speed, 109 miles per hour. Average fuel consumption is around 11.7 miles to the gallon. With the Teletouch automatic, 0 to 60, 11 seconds. 108 miles per hour top speed, 12.1 miles to the gallon. Let's talk options, not getting into every single option on offer, but here's a few. Teletouch drive was optional. It was possible to get an automatic transmission with a conventional gear shift selector. Overdrive transmission, 9-tube signal seeking radio, power steering, power brakes, power windows, 4-way, power seat, tachometer, compass, touch lubrication. Yes, you heard that right. You push this button and it lubricates all of the chassis components so you don't have to get on the ground and do it yourself. All right, let's talk styling. So just check out everything that is going on. There's so much going on that nobody talks about. Just notice how all of this is sculpted, how this grille sits back in here, also how it wraps around. The turn signal indicators and or running lights, they wrap around as well. Notice how much further the headlights protrude over the grille. Wraparound bumper. Also notice the bumper isn't one shape. Notice up here protrudes more than down here. Coming over to the horse color grille. So just check all of that out. The headlight bezels are textured. Sitting here, it gives it a floating look. Notice how this all curves down. Just look at all of these lines. Notice how pointy this is and how it just goes back. It's really pointy here in the front. See that point? I absolutely love this line here. See how protruded this is? It comes down to the Edsel emblem. Just take a look at that emblem. And all of these lines. Look at how this is all carved out. And how this line comes out. Check out the position of the rear view mirror. Look at this design and shape of it. That's a really big rear view mirror, like side mirror. Here's my hand for reference. Look at how this wraparound windshield is designed. And the roof. Look at this drip rail. Look how dished this is. It's all sculpted into the back here. Just notice all these lines. So notice that this is on a part that goes up. There's also a brake light here, but it continues onto the trunk lid itself. Just like in the front, this overhangs this part. These are the backup lights. Gas fillers right there in the center. I always thought that this was a really nice touch with the Edsel up here. And notice how this is all carved in. This line goes down to about the center of the door, and it tapers into the door. But notice this line down here comes off of the wheel arch. Look at how that comes out. Isn't that cool? Look at how this drip rail comes down in between the two chrome pieces. Okay, coming up and getting inside. So when I open the door, notice this door has a nice frame the whole way around it. Just take a look at this, how it's all designed. Here's my fingers for reference. Coming down and looking at this door panel, just check out all the different colors and different materials used. Feels vinyl. Armrest as well as door handle to pull the door shut. Door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window. It's only 4 cranks to the top, or 3.5 cranks, but just check out how thick this window is. Here's the door lock. This is the vent window. And it operates like that. Look at where it's hinged. That's really cool. How this door is designed. I've never personally had an issue with this. You'd have to get your leg up really high to smack it off of that. Down inside the pedal box down here, high beam switch right there on the floor, emergency brake and or parking brake. This is the brake release. This is for the hood. Brake, gas pedal. Just take a look at this interior. So that's what the door sounds like when you shut it. Here's what over the hood impression looks like. Here's what first person looks like. I absolutely love the hood of this car. I love looking over the hood of this car. There's lots of angles and points, and it just feels so classy. Here's what under the steering wheel looks like. I wear size 34 pants. If you wore size 36, 38, maybe even 40, this steering wheel sits up nice and high. It's not in my crotch. It's also sort of dished, but the steering wheel is nice, thin design. It's got grooves in the steering wheel. Check out this horn ring, all of the different designs that goes along with it. And Edsel's claim to fame here, the Teletouch Automatic. So there's different push buttons for different things, like there's park, reverse, neutral, drive, low. This is for the horn. You can push it anywhere that there's a ring. But the coolest thing about this is, don't get me wrong, everybody was doing push buttons by the late 50s, but these push buttons, they're electric. And what that means is, this steering wheel column system, look at the steering wheel. The steering wheel turns around the column, and the column stays completely put, completely stationary. That's so cool. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Left turn signal indicator, compass, fuel. Just below that are 3 toggle style switches, headlights, antenna, interior lights, speedometer, odometer just below it. In the steering wheel center, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low. Clock, heat, defrost, and ventilation controls. 3 more toggle style switches right underneath that. Fan, motor, wipers, lighter, right turn signal indicator, ignition, radio. Just take a look at these gauges. The speedometer, it spins. Instead of it going, instead of the needle moving, the speedometer actually moves and the needle stays stationary. I just want to show you this one real quick. This is the climate control, and it's operational by doing this. So right now it's on air, and then there's different ones inside there, like it'll say low, Now it's in the off position. Now it's in the heat position. And there's different places, like right now you're in low heat. That's high heat. Defrost. Here's the lighter. So that's what that looks like. I love the fact that they made it like a switch, just like all the other switches down there. Ashtray there. Just check out how this dashboard's designed. This part is the only part that sticks out. The rest of it is curved.
This is our Teletouch transmission control. You can drive the Edsel, park it, and reverse it with ease. A flick of the Teletouch button makes an electrical contact, and a motor engages the transmission. This instrument cluster follows the most advanced automotive developments. We placed all instrument switches and warning signals for convenience and visibility. These visual reminders help you watch oil pressure, fuel level, oil level, and engine temperature. They also tell whether the generator is charging and whether the emergency brake is off. Reset this dial at the speed you want. When you exceed this speed, the speedometer dial lights up red in warning.
Up above, we have some sun visors. Just check out these sun visors. They're pretty big. And notice, this is all cut out for the rearview mirror. It's got a sun visor over here on the passenger side, and a nice rearview mirror there. I look like behind the wheel of the 58 Edsel. Tons of headroom. Oh man, this car is absolutely incredible. On to the glove box test. Here's our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here's our glove box in question. I'm not sure if it's gonna fit. Notice it's not. There's like a wall here. There's more glove box space over here. It's not gonna fit. That is a really narrow opening for a glove box that I've seen in a late 50s car. It's got the cup holder indentations. Getting in the back. Cool thing about these seats don't have like a locking back or anything, so you just push them up out of the way. And look at how far they pivot. They pivot off to the side, and that's how much space you have to get back there. So here's what a front view looks like from the back. And just take a look at the greenhouse. Also notice the pillars back here, they're not very wide. It's got a nice wraparound rear windshield. Nice shelf. That's what the visibility looks like out the rear from the rear seat. I actually like that silhouette of the rear end. It looks really nice. So I got adequate knee space. Here is what the seat profile looks like. It's a bit on the upright side. The Fords like to put the seat cushion dips way down in the back here, making your knees rise up. Like, here's the top of the seat and here's my knees. They're really close to the top of the seat. That's because of the position that the seat is in. There are some creature comforts back here. Ashtrays. Works like that. Armrest. Looks like that. It's got windows and a coat hook on that side and a coat hook on that side. Nice dome light in the center. This is what I look like. Tons of room back here. There's enough space back here to have 3 full-size adults going across. This is a very big car. Here's what the window looks like when it goes down. So it doesn't go straight down, it tucks back in and it goes all the way down. This is a sedan, and this is the easiest way to tell. If it has a pillar, it's a sedan. If it doesn't have a pillar, it's a hardtop. Coming to the under the hood section, we pop the hood from inside and you just pick it up a little bit until there's a little bit of a J hook down here that catches. See how it catches that? See, there's that J hook. just check that out. Look at how the hood is hinged. It's hinged in the front. Notice there is a grill piece behind the lower grill. Single master cylinder, non-power brakes. It's got the windshield wash feature. Power steering down inside there. So just check out how that hood opens. That's what it looks like when it's open. On to the pros and cons. We are getting all of these pros and cons from the complete book of collectible cars, blue chip auto investments, 70 years from 1930 to 2000 by Richard M. Langworth in the Auto Editors of Consumer Guide. On the positive side, affordable and likely to remain so. Others for other 58 Edsels. Against it, the slowest appreciation rate among 58 Edsels and the least exciting too. So we got to go back and look at what they said about the Pacer. On the positives, cheaper than the Citation/Corsair series. Speedy, distinctive looks. Against it, distinctive looks. Less power and sheer luxury than the bigger models. Somewhat thirsty. Construction quality borders on slipshot. All right, now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to give me the correct name of the band as well as song title. First person to do both correctly will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Me cry when you said goodbye. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. I read and answer all comments posted. Second way is we have a Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. No obligation to join, just simply saying that if you want to check it out, you can, and the link will be in the description. So if I catch you on here or Facebook, just know that I appreciate all of the support. Thank you all so much for everything, and I really mean that. Today's Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa if you don't celebrate Christmas. Feliz Navidad, and have a happy new year. And until next time, toodaloo!